That's the Slytherin area right there.
All right. Welcome to OU Giving Day 2023. My name is Mike Aguilar, or Moog. I'm the Director of Esports and Co-Curricular Innovation, one of the co-founders of this development. And I'm starting off a 24-hour stream across all of our different efforts. And in this first 15 minutes, I wanted to set the tone for why this day is important, what's to come a little bit, as I will be talking more in depth about that later in the day, and start the call to action of contributing to support students directly, as all money that is raised in the next 24 hours goes directly to impact students' financial burdens in the form of scholarships and operational needs to enable events. And so I want to talk briefly about what OU Esports is about. And again, for those that are following, they're predominantly my students. This is more for the documentation for those that will come back and rewatch these things, as well as this. And so the at donate, or the exclamation donate, I will fix after my stream ends, because we don't want to donate yet until midnight starts. But in the meantime, this link is how you go directly to our portal. Anyway, so to talk about OU Esports, this is a 6+ year development, and my nameplate is covering it, but I'm actually wearing it, and I'll continue to wear it as I just put it on. But that's the founder shirt that we created when it was still the Esports Association at the University of Oklahoma, as an interest-based student org with extremely humble beginnings but extremely ambitious goals. And in its 6 years, it has seen the birth of scholarship opportunities, the birth of a job that now I facilitate, and the fact that OU will backfill that role if something were to happen to me, which is significant in building infrastructure and stability for generations to come. Never mind myself and me as the current spokesperson and leader of this, but it's more about making sure that when my time has come, or I step away, or something happens to me, that this will not die. This will continue to build. So throughout the next 24 hours, you're going to see students that are from different areas, whether it's the leadership channel, which actually come right after me, just playing some games together and talking a little bit about what they're doing, all the way down to informational panels later in the evening with our competitive energies. I'm going to actually talk about venue design, intent, and set up a little bit more deep dive into what's to come at the 11 o'clock hour. And I don't have that pulled up, so maybe I should have that pulled up before I set the wrong times. Yeah, mine's at 11 o'clock. And in that panel, I'm going to be talking about, we're going to walk through the venue. We're going to talk about how we're doing as a program, the things that we want to set in the goals for the future, and the challenges that we currently have, which are predominantly financial, but some of the things that we're working towards them, and other ways that we can contribute in the future as we start to further mature our developments and start getting out of the last remnants of kind of band-aided and slightly evolved like 1.0 policies, and now kind of drawing that line in the sand and setting us up for now the 2.0 evolution of getting more business oriented, so that we can truly make opportunities to sustain ourselves and grow. As a topic of gaming and esports, there are 4 brands that we represent, and if you tuned in right at the start of the stream, and in fact, I'll keep my voice on and we'll review these really quickly as the slideshow plays. But at the very top, this is important to note, as I'll dive a little bit deeper again in my hour at the 11 o'clock hour. But the first brand, which I'm the director of, is the Blanket Umbrella Organization Department that's housed inside of the Division of Student Affairs, known as Esports and Co-Curricular Innovation. This is the byproduct of that very humble student org that I helped co-found with a bunch of amazing students who have all now graduated, and we are now on 2nd and 3rd generations of leadership. And underneath it, the very org that spawned it, we now call OU Gaming Club, which we rebranded last year, to put it in the right sensitivity. For those that don't know, OU Gaming Club is a 3,200 plus member community, which is one of OU's, if not OU's, largest student organization, which is both poetic and amazing because the very org birthed the department, and now the department is the sponsor of the org. And so that's like the perfect symphony of how this should have gone so far, and it's on the right track. But that student org is the components, the lifeblood of our community at OU, and they're charged with putting on events, trying to make sure that there is not only a table and a place setting for everyone, but there's actually a place setting on the table and then a menu that caters to everyone's palate. And that menu means that PC Master Race console players are equals, Genshin Impact, Halo are equals, Call of Duty, and Genshin Impact are equals in the context of how do we engage students and keep them involved and make sure that we are representing the 32,000 member student campus of underneath OU, between the Norman campus, Oklahoma City's Health Science Centers, and Tulsa's campuses as well. It's magic. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate you guys being here. I know these are gamer hours and we're wide awake. I love to see that 17 viewers are tuned in to get us going. But today is about raising money for students. Oh, and I forgot. I'm sorry. The last brand, our media outlet. I'm sorry. There's two brands. So we talked about the department. We talked about the org. Through the org and the community, it spawned all the developments that we are fundraising for. The third brand on this, which is our media outlet, and I didn't transition this, so I'll give you some visual aids there as well. The third outlet is our third brand is Sooner Esports, which is sooneresports.org. We just kind of refreshed it in preparation of fundraising and Giving Day and a future call to action that we're going to talk about on Sunday in our first ever individual team stream with Overwatch from 1 to 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. And Sooner Esports is our media outlet. For those that don't know, that is our version of ESPN.com, our sports section of the New York Times. It's our ability to have students own what we're doing, advocate for it, share our culture, share the things that we care about, talk about who we are, and it forms three essential pillars of our program between the news and media team, the stream team, and the production team that puts on events. And in fact, the production team isn't limited to gaming and esports, as the coordinator, Austin Wynn, and I tonight did live stream production through YouTube for the Korean Student Association, and we just did their K-Night 2023 performance. And so it's the same skill sets as other ways of how we transcend past just gaming and esports and talk about these things that we do and these things that we love being more than just playing games and can benefit other areas. And then the final brand, which is OU Esports as a nickname logo and completely licensed, is our competitive arm. So everything that deals with competition that represents the University of Oklahoma against other universities in formal digital combat falls underneath that OU Esports brand. So what we're talking about today for OU Giving Day is the support of all these different efforts. And each one of the areas that are underneath this, Matt, all these people. Oh, thank you, Austin, for changing that. I appreciate it. Thank you for one less thing I need to do. But that's what today is about. And so the call to action that I have for students is I'm very big on not asking students for financial contributions. Eventually alumni will get hounded. Matt, I'm looking at you. I'm just kidding. And I'm really not interested in even hounding alum until they're in, late 20s, early 30s at the best. But what I can do in this time, and especially in this next 24 hours, is all of our social media posts, all of these links and things like this that'll come out throughout the day through our amazing marketeers, those need to be retweeted, reshared, emailed out, let somebody know, whether it's a parent or if you're involved in development, especially a parent, and the parent, ask, hey, can you circulate this to all your friends? All these things compound to make this come to life. Now, with a community that's 3,200 members deep, the programs that we actually represent are around 180 students deep. That is a very hungry baby. And so that money is the lifeblood of creating the things that we want to do in the future, which are more opportunities that students can have to, one, get an education, but also develop themselves from some unique scenarios. And unique situations, whether it's competition and understanding teamwork, or managing a full-on production and live stream, or putting on an event where over 400, 500 people come and more. Hosting state championships for K-12 is in the future. Partnering with athletics and doing NIL deals with athletes are in our future on the production side. On the streaming side, also correlating with athletics in the future. And we'll dive a little bit more into that again during my 11 o'clock panel. But that's what today is about, and it's meant to be lighthearted. It's meant to showcase all these amazing students, as I get emotional already, sorry, but all these amazing students that I have the luxury and the honor of mentoring, but also learning from too. So that's part of the reason why, for those that don't know, I'm 41 years old, and my hip and my back might feel like it, but my energy absolutely doesn't. And it's because I stay young by valuing this very students that come and be a part of this program. And I learn just as much from you guys and those students as I do in sharing the experiences that I've had, and being respectful and vulnerable to the idea that even though I'm older, I don't know everything. And as long as it's reciprocated on the other end, this is how we've come to build one of the largest organizations and developments and newest developments at OU to a very strong state. And it has a lot of potential for the future. It has tons of hurdles, but we're well past the initial energies that we struggled with for the very beginning. So for this funding, these types of things, even if it's $5, $10, $25, it adds up. and it contributes to these types of things. My focus has to shift from raising money from scholarships and to raising the funding to legitimize more jobs and more operational budget, and then obviously bringing our venue online. Once those things are done and stabilized, then it's all hands on deck from my seat in regards to further bolstering scholarships. So the nice thing is that any money that's raised today goes directly to students, as I kind of silo that off a little bit and let that be something that we're going to work on and empower students to take charge, while I focus on these multi-million-dollar needs to get them out of the way, so that I can focus purely on student experience on the individual level. Right now, my goal is on the macro level. How do I impact as many students as possible, the entire campus, creating jobs, which will also help me in fundraising because I can delegate out and actually request their time. So understand that throughout the day, and just enjoy it. You know, if you're obviously, we're gamer hours. This is our prime time as we're kicking off. But as the day continues, you know, that 4 to 6 o'clock hour where it's just dragging, you know, those types of things, you know, just understand that it's going to be going on all day, and I will close it out at midnight somehow, as I'm already a zombie. But I'll close it out at midnight tomorrow night, or in literally 24 hours and 3 minutes from now, and talk about how we did, recap what went through, talked about what you saw today, talked about some of the key points that I'm going to talk about in the 11 o'clock hour, and then also revisit some of the things I'm going to talk in the 2 o'clock hour as I invite some of our alumni into here and talk about the impacts or viewpoints of what they'd like to see, and some of their best memories. But make no mistake, guys, like, this was built by students, and sure, I set the tone and I sparked the fire, but students have as much opportunity to develop this space and develop this program as they want to. It's just a matter of how much time do we have, because there's a lot of work to do. It's a fun work, because we get to create something from scratch, and we're not even close to being done. So on that note, I'll stop there, and we will resume here in a minute. I'm going to kill this stream here and let it lead out for an hour and check in with Kate, who is our streaming coordinator, who is going to take on the next hour block, which is a stream with various entities of our leadership who are going to play some games and just talk about what they do as we kind of open this up. And then from there, Kate will tell you what's happening next throughout the day. But the majority of these gamer hours are traditional streams, meaning that there's somebody who's streaming a game, come be a part of the community, play games with them, interact with them. And then once we get into the business hours, we'll start showcasing a little bit more of our program side and who's in those things, as I get into more informational stuff, with us really kind of closing it out in the evening with competitive representation with our intercollegiate coordinator, Jody Farmer, and close this day out. So help us help students, help us help yourselves. Let's get contributing as I queue up my first $10 contributions. Also throughout the day, this OU Giving Day now has challenges, and the very first challenge, which is one of my favorites, is most gifts. So let's say that you wanted to give $20. Instead of giving a $20 donation, you would give 2 $10 donations, which counts as 2 gifts. So most gifts, $10 is the minimum, just to keep that in the back of your head throughout the day, or if you're advocating it to anyone else. But that's how we win those types of challenges. And there's different challenges throughout the day. Everyone that's involved in those moments will talk about those challenges or mention those. But other than that, I'm going to cut back to an outro scene and then look for Kate's cue and let you guys get into some leadership exposure. Thank you guys for being here.